you know that a moron is a term used for a person who is able to work under supervision? Men should introduce their wives as their supervisors, and women should introduce their husbands as their morons. Since I was young, I'd always known what I would become in my adult years. I always knew I would have heart disease, and for some strange reason, I also knew I was going to, in the eyes of my family and my friends, be a moron. As the youngest of three, my older sisters, they always called me a moron. I just assumed it was a term of endearment. I had my first heart attack when most of my friends were still having sex. Remember those days, guys? It was so simple. A dinner, a movie, a blowjob. Even though I knew I would become a moron, there was a part of me that had higher goals for myself. I was hoping to become an idiot. You know, it's not easy being a moron. For most people, it takes effort. Being a moron is a momentary lapse in common sense by a person who has an apparent mental age between 8 and 12. Hello? A person who is lacking in good judgment. What? And a person who generally has some kind of vocational education, like going to York University. For me, it came naturally. First off, I was born in Oshawa. Now there's no real relevance to that fact, but only a moron would admit to it. But not everybody thinks I'm a moron. I get these unbelievably fantastic emails from really nice people from all over the world. My new friend, Prince Abu Natal, has $8.5 million in trust for me in a special account. I know he's my friend because he addresses his emails to my good friend, and he's never referred to me as a moron. Then I received another email from Mr. Kwan-Wei Choi Lee. He says he's a distant relative of mine. Do I look like Wei Choi Lee? Anyway, he had a terrible accident last year. He wants to give me land in cash, a lot of cash. He just wants me to forward my bank account numbers, my social insurance numbers, and my financials for the last 3 years. And once he receives that information, he's going to transfer $34 million to my account so he can come to Canada and get his operation. Then we can be a family again. And Mr. Stephen Hakim, the general manager for the United Bank of Africa. He has a fund at his bank valued at 12 million euros. The owner died in an air crash and wants me to be his next of kin. You know, it feels very good to be wanted and trusted. Now, would any of these fine gentlemen be making that offer to someone who was a moron? I don't think so. Also, it appears as if many people involved in the medical community have a great interest in Leslie, my beautiful wife, and my sex life. I receive all these emails with offers to increase the size of my member in order to provide greater confidence for me and more satisfaction to Leslie. And this is serious stuff, because only a moron would believe that their intentions weren't true. Being a moron is also hereditary. It's true. My son Sean is a moron. By default. Now, I love Sean. But last year he called me, he was all excited because he won a free trip for 8 to Orlando. It included airfare, hotel, food, tickets to Disney World. He told me he put his name into a draw at the Sportsman Show. Now, the fact that an 18-year-old Jewish kid ended up at the Sportsman Show should be evidence enough that he's a moron. So I explained to him that every village has an idiot, and that everyone who entered the draw probably won the same trip. I told him some moron would give them their credit card number and be charged an enormous administration fee for this free trip. Anyway, he was really composed when he told me he was that moron. $800 later, and after a 3-hour call to Visa, I finally got the charges reversed. It was then that I realized that I was an even bigger moron than Sean because he was using my credit card. The real moment I knew I was a moron, though, was when I got married. Apparently, only a moron can't pick out a plain white shirt, and only a moron believes his wife can suck and blow at the same time. As a moron, I find it hard to spot other morons, I have this friend who watches a lot of reality TV. His evening TV schedule consists of Dancing with the Stars, The Bachelorette, and Jersey Shore. I don't know, maybe he's not a moron, he's probably just an asshole. So if everybody here would look to your left, now look to your right, the male directly in front of the person in front of you has a good chance of being a moron. See, women, you are generally not morons. You need to have a penis to qualify. Did you know that a twit is not a moron? Twits tweet. Morons use Facebook. And if we were speaking of Ellen, is there anyone more moronic than her wife? She finally got to change her last name. It went from Portia de Rossi to Portia DeGeneres. So there you have it. Only an idiotic bonehead with shithead tendencies would stand up here and make a fool of themselves for raising money for the heart and stroke. But being a moron, it defines me, and it makes me who I am, and that's what life's all about. Thank you very much.
Jeff Morrison. First of all, it appears that the only performer who couldn't stick to a 5-minute time limit was the one who sells watches, right? Originally, Jeff was supposed to get only 5 minutes, just like all the other comedians, but every time he got me another prize giveaway, he negotiated another 30 seconds. I think people here should know a few things about Jeff. First of all, Jeff has had 4 heart attacks, 1 quintuple bypass, 6 stents, and once had to use a defibrillator on himself, with his only regret being that he didn't get to yell, "Clear!" Also, Jeff and his friends, Jack, Carey, and others, organized a world-famous golf tournament, the Moe Classic, which over the course of 7 years raised an astonishing $325,000 for the Of course, my goal is $325,001. Okay, Jeff, you can leave the stage now. Please give a warm thank you for Jay Moe.